Hi, it's Alethea, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the spine in yoga. And we're going to talk about more than just the physical structure. So, as you can see here, we have the spine as the physical structure, as the spinal column. And then here we have some Sanskrit uh, letters for the bija sounds for the chakra system. So in yoga, we have an energetic, many energetic systems, and this one is the chakra system. Most of the chakras are located along the spine, and the last one with the bija sound om is the one that's found in between the eyebrows. So that is the only one that really isn't on the spine, but it is on that axis. So, along with this chakra system, we have the nadi system, we have vayus, and they all kind of will work together here in the spinal column. And what we'll really look at first is what kind of holds the spine on either end, or like the bookends of the spine. So it's the two skulls. If you really hadn't noticed it before, the head or the skull and the pelvis are pretty similar in size, pretty similar in shape in a way, and they really are the bookends of the spine. In yoga, each of these skulls holds an energy source. So in yoga, in the head, we have Amrita. So it's a nectar that will keep us young. And that's really one of the reasons why we do inversions, is to bring that nectar that drips, naturally down from the head, down the spine, and kind of gets worn away. In an inversion, especially like headstand, we'll want that energy to drip back up to that forehead or that eyebrow center. And then in the pelvis lies the Kundalini. So this is an energetic force that a lot of has gotten a lot of popularity or a lot of talk lately. That we would want to awaken this Kundalini energy. This is more of a spiritual energy, something that will bring you one with the universe or the divine. And so we work with both of these energies when we kind of work with the spine. And around the spine also, we have these things called nadis. So these are energetic rivers or many lines of energy. We have more than just three. The three main ones are the ones that lie against the spine, but there's said to be more than 72,000 nadis. So the one in the middle, Shishumna, and then we have Pingala, the right side or the sun side, and then Ida, the moon side or the left side. So coming from the left nostril, Ida, Pingala coming from the right. And they crisscross a lot like the DNA would across the spine. So what really happens is a lot of energy is stored between these two skulls. So not just chakras, nadis, but we also have the vayus or the breaths. So we have a panavayu that moves down pretty much from the pelvis down, and it's kind of like that governs elimination, outward movement. And then we have uh, pranavayu that goes from the chest and moves up. It's kind of like your inspiration and literally your breathing, your inspiration. And then we have the samana, which is moving through the navel, through the middle, kind of getting governing assimilation and discernment. We have udana, which is in the throat, which is expression and speech, and then vyana that moves throughout the whole body. So you can see how the both of these skulls also play within that energetic body. And then lastly, we also have a tool we can use to keep the energy in. And we have bandhas or energetic locks. And all three bandhas again lie along the spine. We have Jalandhara bandha at the throat, Uddiyana bandha at the diaphragm or at the navel level, and then we have Mula bandha down at the pelvic floor level. And this will get us into the next thing, which we have three diaphragms. So why do we use these locks, this energetic motion? Is because we have these three diaphragms. And what we do in yoga is try to make these three diaphragms work together. So we have the three that we want to work together: the epiglottis, the diaphragm, and then the pelvic floor. So if you can see in the diagrams here, they look a lot alike. So there's a lot of things going on that are pretty similar. It's an open and a close. And then what we really work with in yoga is these two working together, the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. So we don't really open and close the epiglottis every time we breathe. It's more if we swallowed or if we were doing the bandhas, as we said, Jalandhara, Uddiyana, which would be the lifting of the diaphragm, and then Mula Bandha, which would be the closing of the pelvic floor. So when we do all three bandhas, Maha Bandha, then we are kind of keeping the energy within those two skulls that we talked about. So we're keeping the energy from the throat down to the sacrum. So keeping the energy within our body and helping that kind of uh, stay within the body. And then when we breathe, what we do actually is that the diaphragm kind of flattens out, and so does the pelvic floor. So as you inhale, the diaphragm widens and lowers, as does the pelvic floor. And then as we inhale, same thing, it goes up and kind of into the torso or into the cavity of the body. So it's kind of an up and down motion. Down on the inhale, kind of counterintuitive, and then up on the exhale. So what does this mean? Well, we need to create and keep energy with synchronicity. So sometimes we have dysfunction and we were not really using our diaphragm in our full breath and the full breathing. And especially for women, the pelvic floor might be something that we might have dysfunction because of childbirth, of pregnancy, or just because we have kept it tight. So, what we want to do is kind of get that synchronicity in our breath. So, I invite you now to take a couple breaths. We're going to take a couple breaths, breathing in and out through the nose. So, breathing in through the nose, feeling how that feels. Do you feel the expansion on both of the lower diaphragms? So the actual diaphragm and the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, do you feel that lift or that easing up? And a couple more times. So inhale, feeling as everything spreads out and lowers. Then exhale as it lifts and contracts. And we'll work with this a little bit by using some vocalization. So we'll kind of get a little bit of use of the epiglottis as well. So we're going to use the vowels ah and o. So if you'd like to take a moment, if you'd like to close your eyes and just for a moment, take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, ah. And just notice how that felt for you. We're going to do the ah 2 more times. Inhaling again and exhale. Ah. Just notice if you feel the spreading of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor on the release of the ah. And now being aware of that's what we're going for. See if this time you feel that spreading. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale. Ah. Notice if you felt that expansion within the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. And now we're going to go to O. So it's kind of the same thing, but this will be the lifting. So you might feel that lift now in the pelvic floor and in the diaphragm. So we're going to take that nice inhale through the nose. Exhale, oh. Noticing what you felt. Again, inhale through the nose. Exhale, oh. And one more time. Inhale. Oh. Noticing if you really felt that lift in the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. And just take a moment to breathe regularly. Breathe back in your natural rhythm of breathing. And knowing that that synchronicity is part of the yogic body. So the yogic body is more than just the chakras, the nadis, the vayus, the koshas, all these things that might seem foreign. They are just one part or one portion. The other portions are of the sensations you feel, the perceptions you have, the experience that you have doing these practices. That's part of your yogic body. So every yogic body can be different. Yours is different than mine. And so we try to find the synchronicity or keeping the energy within us in this way, keeping that vital force, that vital energy in between our two skulls. So I invite you now to stand up just for a moment and just take note of how you feel. And if you can really understand in an energetic way the miracle that you are standing on 2 feet. Unlike any other animal here on earth, we are biped. Our spinal column not only holds us up, but it propels us forward without the use of our arms for counterbalance. So the amount of energy that that must physically have, so as we know, physically, we have nerves and fascia and muscles that support the spine. Think about the energetic things that we have talked today and maybe noticing how they play in to your standing position and how you move about your day on and off the mat. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the spine and yoga in an energetic sense, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.